Welcome to the Iowa 934 University Avenue public hearing. The following is a presentation to review the environmental assessment recently completed for this highway corridor. The study is necessary to comply with federal project development guidelines. This project started in 2010 when Waterloo, Cedar Falls, and the Iowa DOT completed a corridor study to review traffic flow. That corridor study did not include the environmental components needed for federal funding. Tonight, this public hearing will explain the purpose and need for the project. We will take your input on the signed environmental assessment, or EA, and we would like your input on the project's impacts that this study has determined to be minor, legally referred to as de minimis. The purpose and need of this project includes improving pavement conditions, making the intersection safer, providing bicycle access and mobility, making it easier for pedestrians to use the corridor, improving the traffic flow, and supporting economic growth and revitalization in the area. This project is 4.8 miles long in a largely commercial area starting at the Iowa 58 Iowa 27 interchange in Cedar Falls. University Avenue then runs east through a mixture of residential neighborhoods and commercial areas, and finally along the Hope Martin Memorial Park, ending at the US 63 intersection in Waterloo. 4 different alternatives were developed in this study process. Your input and project team discussions brought us to the proposed alternative. The City Councils approved this alternative last spring. This alternative includes a large enough impact area that could potentially include roundabouts, turn lanes, traffic signals, and bike lanes. The EA document does not require final design to match the current proposed alternative. The EA looks at the footprint for impacts and specifies requirements to meet federal guidelines. Each city can still make decisions as to intersection treatments within the area cleared through the EA. The project's effects on public recreation areas and historic sites must be considered and documented in the EA. The purpose of the 4F Federal Code is to protect these types of resources from being permanently converted to transportation use. We have determined that the impacts of this project on these resources are minimal. A de minimis impact means the effects on public parks, recreation areas, or wildlife waterfowl refuges are minimal, or that the project will have no adverse effect on historic sites, or that no historic properties will be affected. The following table summarizes those minimal determinations. The top portion of the table displays Cedar Falls and Waterloo parks that will be affected by the project. The table indicates that the effects to the parks will be either minimal or temporary. The lower portion of the table lists Cedar Falls and Waterloo historic sites that will be affected by the project. The chart indicates that the effects to the historic sites will also be minimal. The EA document for this corridor finds that this project is necessary for safe and efficient travel within this corridor. The Federal Highway Administration signed the document on October 4th. You may comment on the document through November 18, 2013. A finding of no significant impact is the next and final step in the federal approval process, and that should be completed by the end of this year. This allows the cities to move ahead with the design of the project. The DOT and cities of Waterloo and Cedar Falls will be negotiating a transfer of jurisdiction on this highway. Once that is complete, the cities will determine final design decisions. Again, the final design of the project is not required to match the proposed alternative from this document. Instead, the final design should meet the purpose and need from the EA and fit within the impact area provided in this document. Each city can then make decisions as to intersection treatments cleared within this impact area. If you have any questions or comments after this meeting, you can direct them to Krista Rosted with the Iowa Department of Transportation's District 2 office in Mason City at 1420 4th Street Southeast. You can also direct your comments by the telephone at the numbers listed or the email listed on the screen.